What's up? Hello everyone and welcome to our Friday stream. What's up? How you doing? Folks, if you're here right now, please drop a chat. I would love to see who's tuned in. Would love to see that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my week, my day in a bit, but let me know in the chat. What's up? How you doing? Hey Ananya, folks, GM in the chat, okay? Good morning. It's not morning though, but what's up Siddharth? Yo, folks, today I want to talk about something interesting. Okay, I think let me just get started. Give me a sec. Okay, folks, should we get started? Today I want to talk about a little bit. Mostly, you know what? Last stream, those of you who were here last stream, we did on Friday at this same time. Personally reflecting on that, what I found the most interesting about that stream, of course, it was fun doing the iPad stuff, like breaking down HOTS. But beyond that, I loved the Q&A part. Right? I thought the Q&A part was so engaging. And for me, you know, I do a lot of Q&A when the cohort is going on, right? So during the cohort, giving people feedback, guidance, suggestions. But the last cohort ended a couple of weeks back, right? A couple of months back. Um, was it in October? Yeah, I think October. And so it was awesome, right? Basically, I love that Q&A part. So what we can do, by the way, is today we can switch earlier into the Q&A part. I have some stuff I want to talk about, but you know, I think this is one of those topics where I would love to hear your questions specifically, see how much of that I can answer. The theme for today, you can see it in the title, Design Q&A, how to select the right opportunities. Okay, that's what we're going to be talking about. What's up, Neon Nebula? Sup, Siddharth? Hey Suryansh, what's up Ishita? Yo Ansh, what's up? Doing good, bro. I will talk about my day though. I had a lunch with a let's just say a design founder, and we're friends. We've been friends for a while. We went super deep into a lot of like just personal stuff, talking about our own, solo founder kind of journeys. And I'm in a very like reflective, pensive kind of mood. Yeah. It's also December, right? Let's do some quick namastes and shout outs. What's up, Mukesh? I love from C9. Yes. Hey, Joshua. What's up, Anu? Hey, Rida. When is going to have posters? Yeah. For now, I'm enjoying just the clean white wall. Soon, hopefully. Yeah. So, folks, it's December. And December is like the weather in Bangalore, by the way, is like total hill station, right? Like, it just feels like it's just really cold, gloomy, not sunny, like very little sunny. And given that it's December, I already know next week onwards, the next week onwards, things are going to get even slower. Of course, leading up to Christmas, and then the final week of December usually is like really slow. But then there was a time about 2 years ago where December, like I think this was 2022 December, I was trying to get so much done and I was trying to start something new back then, right? Like a small project that I was working on. And I had a really bad time. And December, I had such a bad time. And then the freelancers I was working with, they were on leave. And then some were not on leave, but then they were kind of unavailable. And I had a really bad time 2 years ago in December. And then because of that, my Jan wasn't so good because I didn't do what I was supposed to. And then Feb, my birthday, point being, 2 years ago, I had this learning, like this hands-on learning, that December is not meant for starting new, masterminding new shit, right? December is a little bit meant for reflections. It's meant for, this is my opinion, of course, it's meant for thinking about the year. But then for me, yesterday, for example, I was in my notes. It's a time for writing for sure. Now, when I say writing, I've been writing every single day, right, for the last 1 or 2 weeks. Mostly because I don't feel so good. Right? I don't feel so good. Like there's just from a personal level, yes, we have enrollments going on, so that I'm very excited about, right? Cohort 10, we're going to be starting that in January. So if any of your friends interested or if you're interested, this is probably the time to apply, right? You have that time right now. So that's going great. The team is on top of it. I'm involved every single day, have some stuff going on. But Bangalore giving any challenges other than the weather? The challenge that Bangalore's giving is this quarter for me has been intense, man. Like uh September I moved to Bangalore. October found a new place. November moved into the office, did Silicon Valley event. During this time, expanded the team, had to let go of some. December, now that I'm in, I've just really pensive, bro. And when I say pensive, what does pensive mean? It's like reflecting on, bro. Literally, you know what I was doing yesterday? I put down last 5 years, whatever I've been doing. What the hell have I been doing last 5 years? That kind of mood. um, yeah, it's just a flip flop weather, man. Like I don't know. It's not like it's not depressed or anything, but I'm not. It's just a lot of ups and downs, right? Anyway, I learned this lesson 2 years back. Don't try to start anything too major in December. So anyway, the cohort starts in Jan, not December. And in terms of new initiatives, I'm kind of just waiting for Jan to get started on that. Yeah. But talking about this topic of today, right? How to pick the right opportunities. Now, I said opportunities here. Now, of course, I think maybe a bunch of you are thinking in terms of jobs, finding the right jobs, which is true, type of opportunity. But this is something I've been thinking about as well, right? I just turned 31 this year. And so it's been maybe 11 or 12 years since I've been doing design, since I officially got started with this whole space. And you know what it kind of feels like to me? It feels like I spent 11, 12 years. I had a lot of fun, but working really fucking hard. And now I feel like I have the skills that I always wanted. Oh, I'm so glad I have these skills. But this December mood is like, I'm just like, bro, I am I doing enough? And so this question, am I doing enough? This question is Bangalore giving any challenges? Yeah, it is. It's giving me this kind of, I don't even know what to call it. No, it's not FOMO, not fear of missing out. But Bangalore has this way of making you feel like you're not doing enough. Like you're not moving fast enough. You're not doing things like everybody else is doing such cool shit. Like just last week, okay? Just last week, Zepto launched a new app. Blinkit launched a new app at the 10-minute delivery thing. Of course, there is already. Um, Point is, it doesn't matter really. But then I'm involved with this kind of news. I like to keep updated, and yeah, I'm just working remotely had a bunch of advantages. Like you little bit get to be in your own bubble. Now that I'm in Bangalore, exposed to all of this, I'm still getting I'm still getting used to it, right? Let's just say that. Background still blank. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it in December. I don't think so, right? I should, but the rest of the office, which I don't really show, rest of the office we've done it. Okay, just to show you, just to flip this cam around. Rest of the office, well, you can't really see a lot of it from this angle. Rest of the office has some dope posters. It's just this one I've not yet. Traffic, well, let's not even talk about that, bro. Yeah, I do have a commute now because I'm going to the office, and so morning, evening commute. Yeah, it's hard, but I'm trying to just be okay with that. Um, Career says, I mean, you have those skills because of the hard work you did. So I really want to feel the same energy. Absolutely, bro. And here's what I will say. I don't want to give you generic advice like in your 20s you should do this, in your 30s you should do this. I'm just reflecting on my thing, right? Just my observation. I feel like 20s, I had enough amount of fun, right? Like I have no FOMO of, oh bro, I should have partied more, I should have done this. I did a decent amount of travel, decent new experiences, right? If you guys were here for the last stream, just the one before this, we talked about how as a creative, it's a good idea to chase novelty every once in a while. Do something you've never done before, right? Have a bunch of firsts. Because a lot of times you keep doing the same stuff that you're doing, like you're just like locked into your schedule or whatever. And then a bunch of time can pass and you're like, bro, like everything is the same, right? Now, of course, I'm not saying this as some huge problem. I'm saying just it's good to chase novelty. Now, personally, for me, I feel like in my 20s, I um, I went hardcore on skill development, right? Like in the sense that my mindset in my 20s was, who the hell is going to hire me? Like, I really need to prove myself. Who the hell is going to hire me? Like, even though when I was in college, I was like, bro, the startups thing is really fucking cool. Like, I want to be in startups. The realization I had was like, who the hell is going to hire me? For what? What can I do for them? I really don't know. And so, all throughout my 20s, I was like, dude, I need something. I need really something that, yes, I like working. I like the idea of startups. I loved the social network. Yeah, I want to work with smart people, right? People who are working in startups, founders, like creative people. But in my 20s, my whole thing was like, yo, what the hell do I have to offer? Right now. And so, talking about picking the right opportunities, here's one framework that helped me, okay? And I think this was given to me by my manager in my first design internship. So, maybe this was 2014. Okay. And basically, his framework for this was, you want to be in we all want to grow, but you want to be in an environment which helps you grow, right? Environment that helps you grow. And basically, I think the three things he put down was um, personal growth. See, I'm not remembering the framework clearly. He didn't come up with a catchy name for it. Personal growth, professional growth, and profit, right? I think these were the three things he said. Personal growth, he said, you want to be in a place that helps you discover yourself a little bit. Like it really pushes you to do new things, pushes you to get better, pushes you to keep improving. uh, a place where you can um, where everybody is working on some stuff, and you feel inspired, you're like, hey, I want to do some stuff. But personal growth also means getting comfortable in your own skin, like kind of like um, being able to communicate clearly, let's just say, being able to share your ideas verbally, right? uh, Having confidence when you should go all in, like saying, ignoring the negativities when there's a task at hand, like some personal stuff, right? Like just work ethic and things like that. So you want a place with personal growth, you want a place with professional growth, right? So when professional growth, what it comes down to is craft. So whatever it is that you're doing, are there the other people you work with, are they nerds about it? Like they're like, bro, like for example, design, I would love to work at a place where people love design, right? The team members, they love design, they're doing amazing stuff. And I've, been lucky to find some opportunities like that. Like housing.com was my first official design job. Been able to, build a team also at an academy, which was a great experience. But professionally, getting better at dealing with risk, getting better at setting timelines and kind of executing on those timelines, right? It could, of course, mean craft, right? So, for example, going deep into Figma, or not just the tools, like going deep into Figma, prototyping tools, help frame a webflow. Not just that, but then also creating outcomes, right? Which is, you can learn all the tools, but what do you use it for? And I think corporate environments really push you to create some outcome, like kuch to, but like don't just make it and don't just learn it, but something has to happen. You have to create some outcome, right? And so one thing I found is when I was freelancing, I was doing projects and I would do what the client asked me to. I would try to go above and beyond. I would also try to flex my skills and try to keep improving. But after the project was done, it was done. And I have done the design. Now the rest of it actually is up to the client to launch the business or do the next steps or whatever. But when you're in a company, the work you do you have to face how that work performs. Like if I launch something this month, I have to next month be there for how it performs. And then month three, I have to fix all the things that went wrong. And then month four, I have to do it again. And it never stops. It keeps going. Right. So I think a corporate environment professionally really pushes you to have your work ethic, like structure, right? Like, of course, you can set your own structures, your routine, what time you wake up, how much you work, and all of that. But something about a corporate structure, it really creates, really pushes you to create outcomes. You can't just sit idle, right? Something has to be happening all the time. So professional growth, you want to find something like that. Professional growth also, uh, related question. I'll come to questions shortly, right? Drop them in the chat. Feedback, right? Professional growth also means feedback. Now, what exactly does feedback mean? In very simple terms, you do something. Let's say it's a design. Now you're like, you've done a bunch of explorations. Feedback could mean pushing you to go wide, like pushing you to explore more. Okay. Feedback could mean out of all these possibilities, helping you select what's the best one, right? That could mean feedback. Feedback could mean, so that usually, these kinds of feedback, usually it's your manager or your head of design who's helping you either saying explore more or don't explore so much, go specific here, save time, right? So that's really useful feedback a manager can give you, right? The person you work with most closely, ideally if they're from a design background, keep this in mind, right? The two things they can help you with: going wider, right? Exploring more and more. Like even when you don't know what wide looks like, you're like, I've done two, three things. Like what else can I do? They expand your range of possibilities, but also narrowing down. You're like, I can't decide. What should I do? Should I do this or that? Like I have these variations, or should we do something like this or should we do something like that? A manager can really help you converge, right? So that's feedback. But then that's design feedback. An equally important type of feedback is user feedback. So once you launch something, you have to figure out, hey, did this perform? Did this achieve that business goal? And if it didn't, goddamn, unfortunately, we weren't able to do as good as we thought, but let's try. Let's improve this. And so, user feedback, now it's not always a user saying, I want this and fix this. A lot of times it's, hey, we thought something would work and it didn't. It did not get the kind of results we hoped for. And now we don't know why. So, you have to go discover why. And then you have to find out possibilities for how you can solve that. And the good thing is usually this is done in a collaborative environment, right? Usually there is some head of design, some product manager, maybe your founder who's involved in this. um, if you're a bit too junior, they might not involve you in all this, why it didn't work. They might just do all of this processing and then tell you what to do next, which is also great. It's fine, it happens. But that's feedback, right? We're coming back to this framework that my manager told me in 2014. Growth at a company, what do you look for? Personal, number one, we talked about that, right? Improving as a person, getting better at like managing your emotions, working with people, talking about stuff. Professional, some of this is this feedback part. Professional also can mean domain expertise. Hey guys, should I be writing this down on an iPad, or is it just okay if I verbally do it? Let me know. Okay, let me know in the chat, because I'm just mentally, I realize I'm making a bunch of lists and like nested lists. um, Professionally, that's the second one: personal growth, professional growth, all of these things, feedback. Domain knowledge, which is, you might see a company from the outside, but once you're inside it, you realize, oh, that's how the industry works. So whether that's the finance industry or whether it's agencies, so you realize that's the services industry, or they are maybe deep in YouTube or deep in education or deep in any domain, right? So professional growth means domain knowledge. All right. So let me do this. Let me quickly summarize what we've talked about so far. Okay. And we'll jump into Q&A shortly. All right. Let's do this. So the topic we're talking about is how to select the right opportunities. Let me just put this down. Let's do this. I think the advantage of iPad is also you can screenshot it. Like I love taking screenshots of just random stuff in my camera roll that I'm like, bro, I want to come back to this. I want to revisit this. Like I want to see this one day when I'm scrolling through my notes. So, oh my god, how to select the right opportunities. Okay. The quick framework that we talked about was personal growth. Okay, let me put this down. So let's do this. Types of growth. We've got personal growth. This could mean, you know, emotional, getting better at managing your emotional state, figuring out what that is. This could mean relationships. It helps you connect with good people. It helps you connect with, folks that you look up to, folks who've been in the industry, right? That's a type of growth. You're able to grow your relationships. It could be more relationships or it could even be deeper relationships, right? Personal growth also means your ability to deal with stuff. And guys, don't even get me started on how much stuff there is out there, okay? It's just one damn thing after the other, right? There's always something unexpected taking you out of the zone, something unexpected. You're like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to deal with this shit. Just a part of life, though, right? A good opportunity, like a good container, a good workplace, a good lifestyle can help you figure out these types of growth. Let me just recap quickly, though, what we've done so far. That's one type of growth. The second type of growth is, of course, professional, which is your craft and skill. Now, I know this word craft is a little confusing. The simple way I'll just put it is it's your ability to go deep into your domain, right? So let's say if you are a web designer, let's just say web, okay? You design websites and you want to make the best websites out there. Craft, of course, it means going in depth with the tools. So let's say Figma, Framer, or you want to do Webflow or something else. But it also means expanding your scope of possibilities. What else can I do in this? What else is needed for me? Like making your own syllabus and going deep into that, right? Your craft. How obsessed are you with something? How deep are you going to go that the normal person would never go that deep? That's a little bit of your craft, right? Skill. Now, skill, very related. It's just your different skills that you have. Of course, web design is a skill, using a tool. Anyways, a few other things we were talking about here. Uh, Managing timelines, um, uncertainty and risk. How do you deal with uncertainty? How do you deal with the risk? Now, of course, natural response sometimes is stress. Feel stressed by this, but the more you do it, the kind of better you get at it. For example, right now, having moved to Bangalore, full-time team in this thing, and we have an office now, I feel a huge sense of responsibility on me. Um, and uncertainty about what's going to happen in the future, and risk like, oh shit, was this worth it? Should we have just stayed remote? But it doesn't knock me out, right? I still think about it. I still have to find solutions to these problems, identify what the problems are, be do things that help, solve this. But there is still uncertainty and risk, and there's a level of dealing with it, right? So for a, let's say, a design project, it might mean that, we have a crazy vision, but realistically, what can we actually pull off in 1 month? Now, there is some managing level of managing timelines, and I don't just mean doing it once. I mean every single day, making sure we're moving closer. That's a little bit managing timeline. But there's also uncertainty and risk. If by day 15 we realize, fuck, we can't do this, or a risk like that comes up, how are we going to course correct? Right? So professionally, you get to see a lot of these scenarios. So let me just say this. Personally, you get to see a lot of scenarios, right? Now, I know the topic here is how to select the right opportunities. Now, I'm a little bit, what I'm trying to say is, you want to go to a place which has this. How to do it, I have not gotten to that part yet, right? Like, can you in an interview process just figure this out? I'm not so sure, right? But we're talking about types of growth because this is important. This kind of sets, okay, what should I look for, right? Um, Profit. Now, of course, this is the money you make. Now, a lot of people think like, oh, this is the top thing. Like, just if I'm making more money, I'm growing. That's not true. You might be making money, and then you realize when the money stops, you're like, shit, I don't have the skills anymore to keep this going. Right? There's a lot of people who might crack the interview, and you work there for 1 year, you work there, and then you realize, shit, like, I don't think I can do this again because I work on my skill. So which is why I'm kind of putting it third. Yeah, it's super important. Um, but what I will say here as well is there is something to be said for creating value, right? The design work we're doing, we're not just doing this as a task, we're just doing it for you, right? We're not just, we're doing it so that it can create some outcome in the business. If I'm designing a website, I'm not designing a website to design a website. Yeah, I'm doing that. But beyond that, I'm doing it so that the business gets visibility, or it drives conversions, or they look cool. They tell their brand story really nicely, right? But that's creating value. So you're designing something that creates some value for the business. So you're figuring out this. The reason I'm including this in this category is, yes, you're making money, but are you also creating money? Are you creating value through the things you do? Right? That's something you realize. Are you creating profit for the company? Because a company doesn't want you there to just do what they tell. They want you there because, firstly, you got hired. That means you have a valuable skill. Secondly, you got hired because the company was looking for a job, looking for somebody at that point, which means they need some work done. They have some project that really needs you on it. Otherwise, they would not hire, right? Very likely. But then beyond that, they want you to create some value. They really want you to create some value because that's how they can justify paying you a salary every single month. You're creating some value, right? You're making things happen for the company that are useful for it to become more relevant or for it to grow more revenue, right? So these are some types of growth. All right. Um, a few things on how to select. And I want to get into Q&As, guys, after this, right? So I don't want to spend too much time drawing an iPad and all this. I want to get to Q&A. How to select. Now, there is, of course, a few things I'll talk about, right? Types of opportunities. Now, types of opportunities, you can think in terms of, okay, should I do freelance? This is part-time. Should I do freelance, but full-time? Should I do full-time job, in person? Should I do full-time job, remote? This is one way you can think about the types of opportunities out there. But another way I'll think about this is, there's usually two zones that you're in. How do you identify which of these is right for you, right? Now the other question I would ask is, which zone are you in? There's two zones personally I believe somebody could be in. Anything you can get versus the best you can get. Now, this tricky thing, okay? But stay with me here. These are two zones that you have to be very, very self aware and honest with yourself about this, right? Personally, for me, at the start of my career, I wasn't thinking about what's best for me. Man, I'll figure that out later. I'm starting now, though. I want any advantage I can get as a beginner, right? Uh, Personally, what I was looking for was number one. I was looking a little bit for anything I can get. Now, the best I can get, I knew it'll happen. If I keep putting in the work, it'll eventually happen. But the first 2 years, I was focused on anything I can get, right? So, what I was doing is anything I can get, which also meant fastest, right? So, I was in college at this time. So, the only thing I could do was freelance part time. And so, for me, anything I could get meant, oh, I need to do whatever it takes because every project, more than the money, I'm getting practice and I'm kind of getting paid for this. So I'll do anything I can get. Right. So that was me because I was in college. But then there's also this thing which is best you can get. Now, let's say today, right now that was early, but let's say today with 11 years of experience, it's not 100% clear that I'm here. Okay. Like the best you can get. Like I'm not looking for a job personally. Right. But let's say for my business, I can be in two of these zones. Like there are, like if you're, let's say, doing a design subscription agency, right? Let's take a very common example. I'm not doing one right now, but just to give an example. If I'm doing a design subscription agency, which of these should I focus on? Okay. Um, and this is for, let's say, design agency. Question to you guys. You're starting a design agency and you want clients. Should you go for any clients you can get or should you go for the best clients? What's your answer? Because I can tell you my answer, right? I'm not starting a design agency, so maybe I don't have 100% 100% POV on this. But if I was starting a design agency today, I would try to go for the best I can get. However, if it meant that I'm going to have to spend, I don't know, 6 months just looking for clients and not getting any, like 6 months with no revenue, I'd be like, fuck, let's do a little bit of this. And then later we'll do this. You guys understanding a little bit what I'm saying? Yeah. It really depends on your time scale. How patient are you? Are you willing to wait? Do you have something else? Like, let's say when it came to internships. Now, of course, I wanted the best internship I could get. But at the same time, I was like, yo, I have to do an internship this December, like college reasons. And so I'm actually going to kind of take the best I can get. Like best I can get, but at the same time, I'm going to do anything I can get. Right? Not something that's straight up bad, but the kind of best I can get, right? Roughly makes sense, folks. Yeah. Are you guys getting this? So clearly there's a balance between the two, right? Now, how to select based on the type of opportunities. Now, let's say something like freelance part time. Guys, this is such low commitment. Freelance, which means it's probably a fixed duration project. Part time, which means you don't have to spend 100% of your time on it, right? You can kind of do other stuff. This is a low commitment thing. Personally, for this freelance part time only you can get, I would probably go for this anything you can get category, right? Making sense, guys? 'Cause I have one more thing to show you related to this. One more thing I'm going to quickly show you. I have a video on this coming out next week, okay? But real quick, let me, man, give me one sec, okay? I'm going to put something up on the screen just to show you an example. I was reading the salary survey report recently came out. This is by Indiefolio, and I have a full video on this coming up, okay? But for now, let me just show you. So this one is about 420 participants, right? And you can see the starting salary, it says 36,000. Now that's on the low end, but clearly you can tell that, I mean, maybe this is not even big enough to see. Make it a little bigger. Some of the thing they mentioned here is early on in their career. Okay, you guys can see this. So just to give you a little quick, this thing 0 to 2 years, less than 3 lakhs. That's about 13% of people 0 to 2 years make less than 3 lakhs. About 26% of people make anywhere between 3 to 6. The biggest group here, though, 27%, is people making 6 to 10 lakhs. 27%, right? I would also suggest you look at the Glassdoor numbers for this. It's kind of in line with these, with a lot more statistical data because they have thousands of data points. Anyway, you can also see there's a bunch of people making 10 to 15, whatever. This thing you'll see here on the right, though, which says early on in their careers, UI UX designers find the most value when part-time freelancing. They see a 20% additional income from freelancing. Anyway, I won't go too deep into that because I have a full video on that coming next week on the channel. Please keep an eye out, okay? I'm going to post this. But point being, guys, when you're starting out, balance these two, right? I know this is what we want, but then sometimes it's anything you can get. Even anything you can get is not just, bro, somebody will give this to me, right? Anything you can get also has a quite high bar. You have to have your skills, you have to have your portfolio. You need to be able to be comfortable talking confidently to a person on the interview, not just gyan pelna, but confidently saying, hey, what do you need? Okay, based on what I know, I can do this for you, right? You have to do that. Okay. Something I will say here, though, is there is something called the 37% rule. Have you heard of this, guys? 37% rule. It's also called the optimal stopping rule, right? And basically, what it says is the question you guys. So, for example, let me put this scenario down, okay? You have interviewed for 4 or 5 companies so far, right? And you don't know what to do. You don't know how to decide. Or maybe you're way early and you're like, should I try freelancing? Should I? You don't even know what to try. What you should do is build your skills first, right? Spend at least 3 to 6 months going hardcore in your skill. But what this says is, guys, this looks way more complicated than it actually is. Okay, I'll switch over here. The 37% rule sounds cool, right? I'm so curious. What is that? Yeah, by the way, folks, this was in it's from this book, Algorithms to Live By. We gave this in the C7 Cohort 7 grad kit for all the 10K designers members in this cohort. But what it basically says is, out of all the possibilities that you have, let's say you interview for one, two, not even interview, right? Let's say you're looking for an apartment, right? I'm looking for an apartment. I'll check out the first place. Now, let's draw this. Looking for apartment. I'm going to look at the first place. I'm like, okay, this is kind of good. I'm going to look at the second place. Like, okay, this is kind of, I can at least compare it to the previous place. I'm going to look at the third place, and now I have a decent idea of how good it is in general, right? Like, how good is it in general? How much better can it be? But overall, folks, how many places do you expect to see in total? Think about that. How many places do you expect to see in total? Let's say you expect to see a total of 10 places of 4, 5, 6. What this 37% rule roughly says, I hope I'm not botching it, is that after you've seen 37% of the options, pick the next best one and just go for it. It's the optimal stopping rule. After you've seen 37% of total options, just go for it. Just go ahead. Right? That's a how do you decide? Because the more places you see, yeah, hopefully you find something great. But after you've seen 37% of the options, you have enough of an idea of what it's like. And the immediate next place you see, as long as it's like you can compare to the previous, as long as it's better than the best one you saw, just go for it. Right? Anyway, that's 37% rule. Now, how do you apply it to jobs? I'll leave that one as an exercise to the viewer, to you. My suggestion, go on ChatGPT. Can I draw a ChatGPT logo? No, man, I can't. Something like that, right? uh, my suggestion, go on ChatGPT and search for how do you apply the 37% rule to job applications. But anyway, this is a little bit to do with this previous thing that I said, which is if you're desperately looking for an apartment, okay, I'm going to remove this ugly looking ChatGPT thing here. If you're looking for an apartment, you need it immediately. Well, maybe it's a good idea taking the first thing that you see. I'll be honest, when I was freelancing, this is how I was. I was like, bro, give me any project, anything, just to get started. I can't wait any longer. Similarly, when I was looking, in the past when I bought online courses and stuff, I've done a lot of research. What should I get? Oh, I want to learn this. But eventually I was like, yo, I've seen what's out there, right? I'm not going to see 100 courses. I'm not going to research 100 courses. I'm going to probably look at a handful. And so the best one here, this is the one I'm going to go for it. When it comes to jobs, now, after, like, just to give my personal example, in 2016, after my startup shut down, I went for the first job I could find. It also happened to be on Academy, right? It happened to be really good. But then it was so perfect for me. I loved the founder. I loved the space. And so I didn't have to interview. I just went for the first thing. And we had to talk about the, personal growth. What can I expect? We had a little bit professional growth. What do you expect me to do? Money. It was great. Okay, guys, that's a little bit on how to select. Besides that, I'm giving you some algos, right? Like decision making. I'm pretty much helping you a little bit with decision making, how to select. This assumes, however, that you are in a place to attract these opportunities, right? So definitely attract opportunities, guys. Like, let's get real for a sec. Every once in a while, I feel like I should do something more serious with my life. I feel like I should do something more serious, right? I'm like, shit, man. Like, I should. I mean, I want to actually do this. I'm like, yo, I should do a funded startup or something. Like, I should do a SaaS. Like, let's do something huge. Let's do something. Like, let's do something serious with my life. Like, something bigger. But then I realize, I think about it, and I'm like, bro, the world we live in, the world is not a serious place. Have you guys noticed this? The world is not a serious place. The craziest meme wins. The weirdest shit comes out on top. The kind of let's do the standard tried and tested does not work anymore. Like, maybe I'm spending too much time online on Twitter and all these weird places, but the weirdest shit wins, right? It's not the meme. It's the We live in a bit of an extreme world. It's not the most sensible thing that works out. It's the most somewhat extreme, or the somewhat has the craziest shit in it, right? Like the elections, right? Like the US elections. Bro, with this whole Elon Musk thing happening, he literally he literally has a department of government efficiency. It's called Doge. Like, bro, Doge is a government it's a government body. That's not serious, right? But then what is serious anymore, right? So the world is the world is buying busy buying monkey PFPs. Yeah, we are fucking gambling on all sorts of stuff, right? People playing all this fucking. Who am I to lie? Who am I to um, who am I to judge? I'm exactly the fucking same, right? We've got people gambling on these sites. We've got all these sports gambling, like this IPL stuff. We've got, of course, crypto. Of course, we've got meme coins and all this. So the world is not a serious place, okay? And the reason I'm saying this is we live in a very, yeah, I'm just a chill guy. That's literally the mindset we gotta be in, right? Because us, you and me, we live in this the most connected generation ever. Realize that, okay? Like pat yourself on the back for this. We're the most connected generation ever. But we're also the most overstimulated generation, bro. We're not supposed to humans humans are not supposed to deal with this volume of information on an everyday basis. We gotta be a little chill about this stuff. We've got to realize the world is weird and somehow weird wins. Standard doesn't work anymore. All these traditional career paths and all this, it doesn't work anymore. Sometimes I feel like the weird one, because I'm like, anyway, the point we were talking about is, guys, don't look at the past for answers all the time. Let me say that again. Your answers are not in the past, because the experiences you're going through on an everyday basis are novel experiences. Nobody ever in the history of the world has been this connected, this tuned in to global events, having, on our fingertips, all this stuff. So your answers are not in the past. Your answers are probably somewhere in the future. And so, the reason I'm saying all this, right? Not just, yeah, philosophically, of course, but the reason is, guys, when it comes to risk appetite, like, hey, I want to do something, but is that too weird? Is that too crazy? Like, will I feel weird about this? Normal thought, right? We all have these kind of thoughts. Go for the weird thing. Like, the reason I was talking about this, the very specific thing, is we were talking about attract. All right. Now we're talking about the idea of attract, which is, guys, you are constantly overstimulated by this device right here, right? This device is eating up your time, it's eating up your attention, it's eating up your attention, it's eating up a lot of times your peace of mind. At the same time, bro, I can't go offline. Like, I'll be very honest, I can't go offline. It's a romantic idea to be in the hills and like totally disconnect and live a um become a tour guide or something. Like, we are going through a lot of sacrifice. We are more connected than ever, but we're sacrificing a lot of stuff for this. So my suggestion to you is, take back some control. And what I mean by that is, use this as a weapon. Your phone is a weapon. And if you don't use it, why do you have it? I mean, yeah, I doom scroll reels as well, and it's fun every once in a while. But bro, I should be the one making the reels. No, why am I doom scrolling reels? And that's not just me, that's all of us here. If people are making money doing reels, why aren't we doing it? Or, I'm not trying to get you to be a content creator. If people are confidently putting their voice out there, putting their work out there, and attracting opportunities, the only risk is that they're like, oh, should I do this? It's a bit weird. I'm scared. That's fine. That's normal, actually. You need to be using your phone as a weapon, right? So attract opportunities. What that means is um, definitely portfolio, post work online. But the other thing I would say that comes before you attract is learn. Going in a bit of a loop here. How to select opportunities, attract opportunities, guys. Post stuff. Okay. Anyways, guys, on this thing, um, the other the other thing that really helps, right? We're talking about this idea of this phone being a weapon, and ideally you want to use it and not be used by it. On this same note, the other thing I'll tell you is it helps having something called conviction, or sometimes people call this delulu or whatever, delusion. It helps having conviction, and right, these were two algos that we talked about, how to select opportunities. Think about, are you in a zone where you want to get anything you can get? Then just go for it. Best you can get, oh, I'm going to have to wait for this. Apply the 37% rule, which is optimal stopping. When do you know when to stop looking? It's when you've done this. But besides that, I would say dominant factor is another one, right? How to select opportunity, dominant factor, which is I'll give you ideas. Okay, location, where do you want to work? Team, who do you want to work with? Be ziddhi about one or two of these things, right? This helps. Okay, it's not a good idea having unlimited options out there, unlimited number of things we can do. Freelance bhi kar sakte ho, part time bhi kar sakte ho, ye bhi kar sakte ho, wo bhi kar sakte ho. It helps having some conviction. Okay, being slightly delusional sometimes, although I'll remove this for now. What are your factors that you're ziddhi on? Like, you're like, I need this, I want this, right? Some dominant factors might be location, it might be team, it might mean brand name, it might mean salary, it might mean, let's say, creative freedom, or just freedom in general, whatever type it might be. Which of these is the most important, and what are you okay with? The rest is what you're okay with, right? So, for example, if you really want to move out of your parents' place, you want to move to Bangalore or something, location is the most important. And so you'll be okay with everything else if at least you get maybe one or two of these, and then you're okay with that, right? Personally, for me, let's say when I was picking colleges, I knew that a very important thing for me was I wanted to stay in a hostel. Like, I wanted to have the hostel experience, and I wanted to not be in my home city. And so my primary thing became location. Now, of course, the cost was a factor, but anyway, I was able to figure that part out. So this is some ways to think about it, guys. I'll switch back to some Q&A now. Okay. I hope this was a little bit helpful in thinking about this stuff. One more thing on this, though, dominant factor, is how to decide. Well, one way you can think about it is definitely optimal stopping rule, right? Just look this up. Look up what this optimal stopping rule is. Besides that, though, how to decide, I would say come up with some, like, there is literally some mathematical ways to do this, right? So, for example, variable 1, variable 2, variable 3. I'm going to rate out of 5. Like, this is a 2 out of 5 on this. It's a 3 out of 5 on this, 4 out of 5 on this. Now, overall, this gives me a 9 out of 15. Now, the second opportunity, it's this thing, it's this thing, it's this thing, and it gives me this. Now, this, of course, is when you have a lot of options, right? So when you're in this category, which is you want to do the best you can get, you have a lot of options. Then probably you want to rank them. There is probably some dominant factor that is important to you, but you want to rank them and you want to be like, okay, at least I now have some numbers to look at. I'm going to go for this. Okay, folks. Okay, let's talk about. I want to go some interesting questions in the chat, right? Questions and just comments in general. Let me start from the top. While freelancing, when I reveal my prices, clients just ghost me. I'm a beginner. How to deal with this? Because other designers charging less. See, Ishita, one way I can tell you about this is how most people deal with, or let's just say how the very successful ones deal with this, is they have a lot of options, right? So if I have two clients, I'm like, oh man, or two leads, I'm speaking to them. And if both of them say no, I'm going to have zero work. And so that's not a good place to be in. So I'll really try to make it work with them, right? If they're ghosting, bro, the minimum you can do is definitely just follow up, you know. But then the point is, some people, it's just not a good fit, right? I've been in positions where my friends got the project and I didn't get it. But in the end, it was, looking back now, it was probably a waste of time for me to think so much. Why didn't I get it? What could I have done differently? Should I have charged lesser? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? The best thing would be to move on to the next one, right? So one opportunity for this is just get more leads. And how do you get leads? You attract leads. You post work and then you say, hey, I'm available. You know, a lot of times designers don't get inbound because people look at them and they're like, oh, this person is doing so well. I don't even know if they're available. Right? So get leads. That would be my main suggestion on this. Besides that, yeah, we live in a attention starved world. So if you want to get leads, you have to kind of get their attention. Of course, content creation helps, referrals help. But Ishita, overall, I would say um, that's the thing with being a freelancer. Right? Sometimes we have to go for, okay, I'll just do it because it's practice. Um, so either expand the total number of people or be okay every once in a while doing this. That's okay. At least the next one, you should be able to charge higher if you're able to take this, present a really nice case study and post it out there maybe. And yeah, it happens with experienced freelancers too. There's always somebody doing it at a lower price. But let me tell you this, price is not the only thing people look for, right? And you know what? Let me tell you, let me give you some info, okay? Very interesting thing. I Very interesting thing I came across recently. Let me see if I can find this. Price is not the dominant thing people look for when they're hiring. They look for, number one, authenticity. I'll tell you a few things people look for, okay? Number one, authenticity. Is this person for real? Can they Is this person for real? Right? Are they literally not a scammer? Or are they actually a designer? Number two, believability. Can I believe what this person says? Do I feel confident about that? Right? They say they can do this. Do I believe that? You can work on these things, okay? And folks, can somebody post this in the chat? I'm gonna list them out. I could be writing this down, but I'm reading it off my iPad. Authenticity. Is this person for real? Believability. Are they telling the truth that they can actually do what they say? Number three, credibility. Are they knowledgeable? Are they competent? Right? Believability is one, but then competence, right? Credibility, let's just call it credibility. Fourth, feasibility of relationship. What does that mean? Is this person right for me? For example, if I find a really good person, but they're in college and so they might have some issues, they might not be the right fit for me, just as an example, right? So, feasibility of relationship. Can we actually have a long term working relationship? Sometimes the answer is no. Sometimes if I find a person who's in Bangalore, I'm like, oh, that means we can work together from the office. I would pick that person, right? Price is not even a factor here. So, folks, authenticity, believability, credibility, feasibility of relationships, customized solutions, which is when you are on the call, are you actually listening to what I say and saying, oh, yes, I understand that and I can do that? Or are you just saying, oh, yeah, you're not listening, you're just pitching something? Are you actually listening to what the client has to say, right, on the call? Do they feel heard? So this is the fifth one, right? Customized solutions. Are you actually listening to them? Can you actually deliver what they need? Sixth, safety and security. Is this person available? Can I trust that they won't run away? Can I trust that they won't come up with an excuse and just stop doing the work? Can they be relied on? I hope you guys are getting this, okay? 7, comfort. Do I understand? Okay, comfort is, do I understand enough about what they're doing? For example, there are some clients who've never worked with designers before. So they don't feel comfortable because they're like, bro, what if I don't know how to, like, what if I don't know how to create a brief and then we lose time and we lose money? They're not comfortable working with a designer. So they need somebody who can just like, really give them that comfort. Like, hey, it's going to be okay. This is exactly what I need. And if you do this, I will be able to do this, no problem. Right? So comfort is a big one. Sometimes, literally, I have lost projects because I didn't speak Hindi. And I maybe I should have, but I just felt the other person would feel way more comfortable if I spoke in Hindi. At the same time, I just I was I feel more comfortable in English, let's just say, right? Like English is for me is my working language. I can't talk about design in Hindi exactly, right? I at least won't be as good at it. Anyway, just an example, comfort. People need to feel comfortable working with you. Number 8, superiority. Is this the best person available for me? Am I making the right choice compared to other choices? Here, the optimal stopping rule comes up again, which is if I've spoken to 5 freelancers, optimal stopping rule. Superiority, is this the best person? And folks, ninth factor here is price. Am I paying the right price? You guys understanding? Is this useful? We think clients really care about price. Folks, price is the ninth thing they care about when they're trying to make a decision, right? There's all of these other things here. And somebody, if you noted that, please post it in the chat. All right. I would have drawn it, but why not? Let's just do it. Why not give it to you in an easy screenshotable format? It's going to take me a while though. So I was being a bit lazy. Mm, let's see. Did you guys get that? Did anybody post it in the chat? Because I'm just gonna see if I can just put this up here. What do clients look for when hiring freelancers, when hiring full time? Hint, it's not price. Yes, price is one of the factors, but it's not the only factor. To quickly list down the summary, what they look for is number 1. Guys, I really don't feel like writing this down. I'm being damn lazy. Okay, I will. This is a very important thing, so I will. Okay, I'm doing this for you guys. Number 1, authenticity. Number 2, Believability. And by the way, my source for this amazing, I think it was a seminar that I was watching by Dan Kennedy or somebody similar. Number three, credibility. I'll write down what each of these is. Four, feasibility of relationship. Five, customized solutions. Six, safety, security. And seventh is comfort. Eighth is superiority. And then ninth is price. Okay. What do clients look for? They look for all of this. Price is just one of the factors and it's the end, right? So, um, is this person real or are they fake? Are they trying to be someone else, right? Believability. Um, are they telling the truth? Are they knowledgeable and competent? Are they appropriate for me? Guys, I kind of regretting writing this down. Lazy. Customized solution. Are they listening or just pitching? Safety security, which is it's can I rely on them? The example that I gave for safety security was, will they go away? Will they give random excuse? Oh, my family, this happened. I mean, so what, bro? Can like you got to do my project though. Comfort. Do I feel um, do I feel comfy? Understand how to work with them. Superiority. Are they the best choice from others available? Guys, I hope you're not getting bored of this because yeah, price. How much they charge. Next time I should have stuff like this written down in advance. Okay. Cool, guys. I hope this was useful. What do clients look for? They look for all of this stuff. And they're not looking for, do you know Figma? Do you know how to do the auto layout and all that? They're saying, can you do what I hired you for? But then this is how they decide. Now, they're not running this checklist in their mind. Maybe they're just running it randomly. But this is what I think of too when I'm hiring somebody, right? I think about all this. Interview process. Interview process, people say, how can I get better? Well, if you're a designer, right? Let's break it down. Let's break down what objections do clients have? What are the fears that the person on the other side has hiring you? And then go at it. Why don't you? Like, just hypothetically, your portfolio, why doesn't it address these issues? Why is your portfolio the work and you're letting the client decide? I bhagwan, not bhagwan bharose, but client bharose, I figure it out. Here's my work. I am a passionate UI designer specializing in solving problems that bring delight and usability to the target users. Great, bro, but understand the client is a human. They're looking for all these things, right? Your portfolio, rethink, how can I answer these questions? How can I show proof of these things? It's not an easy answer, right? If it was so easy, everybody would be doing it and then there would be no competitive advantage, right? If it was so easy to just do all of these and address these, it would be so easy. Everybody would be doing it. But the next time you come across a really cool agency site, you will notice that they're talking about, hey, they're talking about their story, authentic, right? Or you come across some portfolios that you're like, wow, this is amazing. It's usually because of this, right? So, folks, I hope this made sense because this took me a long while to figure out. Took me a long time to put it together as well. I watched a bunch of different talks around this. I mean, to be honest, some of this is research that I'm doing for the upcoming cohort, right? So, definitely FYI, applications open. It's in Jan. Definitely check it out because I am updating my material. A lot of this stuff, right? I update my material every single cohort, bro. Some people say I'm too paranoid. Like, bro, why do you need to design it? But to me, this is like my full time thing. Like, this is the one thing in my life that I will never half ass. I need to be the best fucking. I need to be the best at this, right? This is my primary project in life. The cohort, teaching and making sure you guys are successful, right? And in the end, your success is tied to my success, right? So this is really important to me. Just FYI. The reason I'm saying that is, folks, screenshot this right now. This is maybe the one of the most important parts of this video, right? Okay. Guys, if you're a designer, you're looking for work, whether it's freelance or full time, address these issues. Now, I see a comment, okay? By the way, I don't know if you saw this. I should have saved the link so I could pull it up on stream. Somebody did this fake portfolio and they're like, bro, you know what? I've applied to 500 places and मेरी wireframes रो रहे हैं and these many cups of coffee, these many rejected interviews. अरे मुझे कुछ ना कुछ दे दो. And I was like, wow, that's smart because I came across that on LinkedIn and I was like, wow, you really got people's attention. This has like hundreds of likes. And then I clicked the thing and I read it. And you know what I expected? In the end, it says, they are wrong because I am awesome. Here's my real resume. Here's what I'm looking for. And this is what I want. None of that. You know what the CTA was? Fake resume. Fake resume. Can you believe that, guys? Now, I know some of you saw that, okay? Because this did go viral on LinkedIn. But, guys, I mean, folks, please be. I understand it was a fun thing to do, right? Don't be so serious. It's fun. It was funny. But in the end, guys, let's not lose the big picture here. We're doing this so we can get clients, we can get jobs, we can make money, opportunities, right? There's opportunities in the world. People are making. Anyways, you get my point, right? How I would have done that, make a funny site, great. But your portfolio should answer these questions, right? Do it with humor, do it with visual examples, add social proofs. But if you're following a template, usually the thing is templates in portfolios, okay, but then the copy matters. The text matters. And so if your text is also templatized, like you're just putting general stuff, you might be missing out on these things, right? So please think from a user's perspective. Think about the end user on the other end. If you're trying to get opportunities, right? You might be posting work online. You might have a portfolio. You might have a Behance, right? You're doing all of this. Can you address these questions? Now, some of these questions you could address on call by showing your past work, by saying, hey, I'm in Bangalore and 100% I'll tell you I'll be able to do this, right? Some of it is just the things you say. It's the confidence that you project. And that confidence comes from your past experiences of having done it. Remember this checklist, guys. This is what people look for. You're going to an interview. Yes, there might be multiple rounds, but in the end, the person who decides The whole interview, all the rounds were just an assessment to figure this out. Yes, this does include your skills, of course, credibility. Are they knowledgeable and competent? But okay, I hope that was useful, guys. I talked to the guy who he's not looking for a job. He's loved the idea of creating. That's cool, right? I always support doing fun experiments on the internet. But here's the thing: if your fun experiment kicks off, who knows who's gonna DM you, right? So definitely do more of this stuff. But um, yeah, I see a comment here. This checklist can be an FAQ in your portfolio. Oh my god, why not? That's a dope idea, right? Shouldn't all these things address them in your portfolio? Address this, right? Somehow, either as FAQ or in another way. Okay. All right. Mm, all right, guys. This is what we were talking about, by the way. Somebody created a fake site and it blew up on Twitter. Only thing I wish is that I wish the CTA was a real one. Okay, because then they could have actually made a bunch of money from it. My guess. Okay, but if it was fun, no worries, all good. Kudos for doing it though. Really, kudos to you if you're watching this somehow. Sarthak says smart-minded people and salary are very important. I'm okay with remote work and small startup. Yeah, so it's good knowing what you're okay with, what you really need. Okay, this was con- in context to our previous thing about picking the right roles. Yeah. Should we ever work for free? Vamshi says. Right? There's a company that is a college startup. Number one, bro, Vamshi, college startups are not real. Okay. If somebody's in college and they're doing a startup, I'm kidding. I don't know why am I being such a hard ass. I did a college startup as well, but I can tell you, I was not in a position to pay anyone. Right? I didn't have the money for it. And even if I did, I didn't have the job security that came with it. And so personally, it would have been a very bad experience for somebody if I hired somebody with a lot of expectations because I was myself figuring things out. However, the question they're saying is, should I work for free? Because they can offer an internship certificate. Point is, bro, internship certificate doesn't matter. What matters is, will this give you the chance to do cool work that you can actually put in your portfolio, create some story around it, and then use that to pitch to the next client. Okay, that's what is important. If they're just getting you to make some random stuff that's not going to help you, probably not, right? And guys, and if you are working for free, you'll get some experience. Maybe if the folks on it are really smart and you could learn from them, and you yourself are in college, why not think of it as, you're working with your seniors on some random thing. Probably not going to work out, but at least I get to work with my seniors. Right? That's personally how I would have dealt with it if I was in college. Yeah. Okay, folks. So I'm going to wrap up shortly. Okay. I'm going to wrap up shortly. Factors affecting the client: authenticity, believability, credibility, feasibility, customizability, safety and security, comfort, superiority, price. Thank you for the uh, summary. All right, folks. So, besides that, what else do I have to share with you? Um, I think one thing that could be interesting. Let me. Can I show this? I don't think I should show you this. I think this should be a little secret, but I really want to. Should I? Should I? Should I? Should I? दिखाई दूं क्या? Something interesting I've been working on. I'm an academic kind of zone, right? But by that I mean, yeah, I'm working on the business, but I'm doing a lot of research and stuff around how do I make the next cohort even better, right? Let me show you something interesting that we've been working on. We're putting together show you this. Switch to. We're putting this thing together. These are some resources, and hopefully, I can share some of this with you on YouTube. One of the reasons we're doing this is to share this in the cohort, but also to use it as a kind of resource that we can show on these streams, make YouTube videos about. We're putting together some core resources. Okay. This is, of course, if you're enrolling in the cohort, you will probably get access to this. And we're still putting it together. It's a work in progress. What should you work on as a designer if you're getting started? So here's what we teach in the cohort. These are the things we think are important, and we have exercises, assignments, and resources, honestly, to help you learn all of this. I would say some of your foundations, it's this. Understanding the words, of course, Figma, that's a huge one, but understanding some core fundamentals, grids, typography, understand these concepts of hierarchy, balance, contrast. It helps to have a lot of examples for this, right? So that's something we are putting together. Core concepts plus a lot of examples such that it's drilled here, right? So these are some things we're going to talk about. These are our month one foundation. These are not our slides, by the way, right? Our slides are totally different. Our live sessions, we do them 2 times a week. That's a separate thing, right? These are additional resources that we are putting together now with all of our last 9 cohorts, resources, material. We're just creating this mega resource, so to say. Month 2. Now, personally, I suggest folks get started with web design first, then go to app design. Now, guys, I'll be a little bit honest, okay? I've got into Kalesh. I've got into fights with designers on the internet and whatever. Oh, web design is not product design. How can you say this? You don't know this. Web design is not product design. Website, UI UX designers don't make websites. You don't know anything. Guys, I still see that in my Instagram comments sometimes, okay? Point being, bro, if you're a designer, I would say start with websites. That's my personal suggestion, okay? Yeah, you want to do product design, you want to do UI UX design, you want to do start with websites though, right? That's my suggestion. Reason why a lot of people in the world need websites. There are more clients out there that need a website than there are clients who need an app. Think about it. The apps we use, when was the last time you downloaded a new app? You probably use the same apps again and again, which means it's a good idea joining those huge apps, right? But websites, yeah, you come across new websites all the time. You click a link in a bio, somebody sends you a WhatsApp message. Anyway, point being, websites super important to learn. If you're starting out, definitely learn websites, right? Our month 2 assignment, by the way, is all related to websites. Designing a landing page for a startup. That's specifically what the briefs we provide. We will give you 30 startup briefs. You can pick one. We've selected these real briefs from websites that have shitty or not good, or they're very early, so they didn't hire a designer. They don't have a good designer. Website is important. These are some of the things we want to cover. So finding inspiration, general process, right? Timeline. How do you think about the different steps, milestones? Diverging and converging. When should you explore? When should you just narrow down? Research. How can you use ChatGPT, these kind of tools to go deep into, honestly, go deep into the subject matter, the domain that you're designing for. Let's say you're designing a website for some Y Combinator startup in some B2B area. Well, you should probably do a lot of research into the specifics, a lot of research into the specifics of their domain, and then look at competitors, but then also go deep into their own material. Anyway, that's a bunch of research. Copywriting guide, how do you write good copy that converts? Client communications, a little bit around the process over there. I won't talk about each of these, but this is just some resources we're putting together. One thing we haven't, this is still a work in progress though, so there's going to be more. I don't want to just end it there. Month 3, of course, we do this in month 3 of the cohort. Actually starts month 2.5 itself. Um, startup vocab, right? Startups are a whole universe by themselves. The words they use, the things they value. Startup culture, what are the things you need to know around that? Designing apps, design patterns, big one. Okay, definitely check it out. Research, what kind of research constitutes at the right stage of based on what you're designing. I will try to include a bunch of that there. layout, brand style, cards, lists, some very core UX stuff. We're going to go deep into some product frameworks, prioritization frameworks, designing with metrics, how do you do UX audits, designing search flows. A bunch of this is still work in progress, but we've done all this in the past. Not in every, we've done this in the past cohorts, right? So now we're just putting it all in one place. Finally, month 4, this is basically a little bit where we cover things like working with developers, understanding business points, things like salaries, the anti case study guide. Case studies, I feel like a bit outdated. There's way more better ways to stand out. What are they though? We'll talk about a few of those, right? Posting online, but the things we talked about today, what does a client look for? Um, we're going to cover a bunch of this stuff. We also have this little module at the end, which is design masters. We recorded a bunch of interviews for people who've gone for their masters. Just an FYI. Actually, let me open this. Oh, I'm on the Webflow site. Some of the things you should know in general. Of course, applications are open. Yes, we do have EMI and all of that. Um, Guys, a question I get is, are you guys placement friendly? Do you guys help with placements? We honestly do something way more than placements. Anyways, I don't really want to hard sell to you guys. If the cohort is good for you, you probably should do some research, right? I can't. If you have questions, though, happy to answer. But yeah, guys, just an FYI, applications are open. On my end, yeah, this is kind of what I'm working on, what the team is working on as well. Um, a bit of an overview of what the cohort actually teaches you. Yeah, useful to know, guys. Is it interesting to see? Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, guys, I think I want to wrap up. Thank you. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope this was useful. Um, small ask, small ask. Friend of yours interested in enrolling in the cohort, and if you think this would be useful to them, please feel free to suggest. Other than that, though, I hope a bunch of you who are considering did join the stream today. Right, I sent links to a bunch of you. Hopefully, this was useful. And I see a question, which is, let me see this. Is this just for cohort members or alumni too? First cohort members and then alumni. We're figuring out, we want to give this to alumni as well, but we're still working on the material. So yes, we will share this with alumni. We will also this time have a DIR program, like a designer in residence, which is a way for alumni to participate, not do the whole cohort again. I think that would be too much, but way for them to participate in core parts and repeat that learning, right? So things like briefs, things like guest sessions, simulator sessions, we're going to invite alumni back for that. Keep an eye out, though. We're in the process, enrolling. Looking real good. Nice. Okay. Ron says before 10K, 7K per month. After 10K, 7K USD per month. Whew. Nice. Good testimonial. All right, folks. So I got to go. Have a fantastic weekend ahead. I hope you're able to. I hope you're able to relax a little bit. It is December after all, right? Hope you're able to relax a little bit, get some rest, because yeah, we got to start the year strong, right? When will classes start? 18th Jan is our date. So 18th Jan we will do a kickoff, and then just to quickly show you this, and then it is two classes a week. Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's what we've got. What I can show you around this is this right here. Guys, I love Notion. Like, there was a time when I stopped using Notion, and now I'm back. Um, some information about this is what I was talking about. This is the cohort roadmap, right? Overall, 4 months that we go across all of these things. The core sessions, Wednesdays 7 to 9, Saturdays 4 to 7, which changing the Saturday time. Earlier it used to be 7 to 9. Now we're moving it a little bit in advance. But weekends, selected weekends, we're going to be doing in person stuff where we will invite mentors, guests, some alumni, do meetups. During assignment time, we might also do some feedback sessions and stuff in person so you can get in the zone. Co-work session, things like that. That's the first time we're doing this. So yeah, IRL meetups, definitely. We're going to be doing IRL meetups. That's exactly what this purple sticky note in the week breakdown is all about. We will be inviting alumni to that as well, but it's next year. So lot to do. Enrollment's still going on. I've got to finish enrollments before get to experience some of this. Yeah. Okay, folks. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.